A major free agent signing for the Los Angeles Lakers is already facing a setback before the season has even begun. Training camp has barely started, and one of the team's most important offseason acquisitions is dealing with an injury that is raising questions about his durability and the Lakers' ability to stay healthy heading into the preseason. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. On Tuesday, head coach JJ Redick addressed the media and confirmed that Marcus Smart, the veteran guard and former NBA Defensive Player of the Year, missed practice due to an Achilles issue. According to Redick, Smart has been going through a careful ramp-up process, but the team decided to hold him out of live action to avoid aggravating the problem. Marcus is dealing with a little bit of Achilles tendinopathy, Redick told reporters gathered at the Lakers practice facility in El Segundo. He's been on a slow ramp-up, participating in a modified way. Nothing live today. We expect him to be fine by the end of the week. The news comes at an inconvenient time for the Lakers, who were counting on Smart to bring toughness, defensive versatility, and veteran leadership to a roster that underwent significant changes during the offseason. Smart, who turned 31 this year, signed a 2-year, $10.5 million biannual exception contract with Los Angeles. His arrival was considered one of the more strategic moves of the summer, aimed at bolstering the team's perimeter defense while also adding a battle-tested veteran presence. Although Smart is no longer in his prime, when he was regularly one of the league's top defenders and a 3-time All-Defensive Team selection with the Boston Celtics, the Lakers believe he still has the mentality and skill set to contribute meaningfully. Yet there are signs that the years of physical punishment may finally be taking their toll. Smart's style of play has always been defined by relentless energy, hard-nosed defense, and an ability to guard multiple positions despite being undersized at 6'3". That versatility made him invaluable in Boston, but it also demanded a physical price. Over the past 2 seasons, Smart struggled with both injuries and consistency. He split time between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Washington Wizards, appearing in just 54 games combined. Last season in Washington, where the franchise was in full rebuild mode, Smart logged the lowest playing time of his career, just 18.7 minutes per game. Despite the limited role, he managed to average 9.3 points, 2.5 assists, 1.9 rebounds, and 1.1 steals per contest. His shooting split stood at 440 from the field, 392 from three-point range, and 686 from the free throw line. Those numbers suggest that while he may not be the same disruptive force on defense that he once was, Smart can still be productive in spurts. For the Lakers, the key will be managing his minutes and keeping him healthy enough to make an impact when it matters most during the postseason push. Some analysts believe the Lakers may test him as their starting small forward, leveraging his defensive instincts and toughness on the wing. At 6'3", that would be an undersized role, but his ability to guard larger players has always been part of his value. That potential move could push Rui Hachimura back into more of a bench or secondary role. Hachimura at 6'8" is better suited to the power forward position, but has been used as a small forward at times. While he can defend the perimeter adequately, many believe he is more effective closer to the basket. Comparing the two, Smart offers more defensive grit and experience, while Hachimura brings size and scoring versatility. At this point in his career, LeBron James is not expected to shoulder the defensive load on the perimeter. At age 40, James remains one of the most intelligent players in the league, but his defensive responsibilities must be managed carefully. This only adds to the importance of having someone like Smart available and healthy. Unfortunately for Los Angeles, Smart is not the only player dealing with health concerns this week. Training camp has already turned into a test of endurance for several key names on the roster. LeBron James himself is managing a nerve irritation in his glute, an issue that has raised eyebrows given his age and mileage after 2 decades in the league. Veteran guard Gabe Vincent is still struggling with a lingering knee injury, while rookie forward Ado Thiero continues to recover from an ailment that dates back to his college days. That makes 4 players already facing physical setbacks before the preseason even begins. For a team that desperately needs health and stability to contend in a competitive Western Conference, it is hardly an ideal start. Redick, entering his 2nd season as a head coach after making the rare leap from broadcasting to the sidelines, acknowledged the delicate balance of preparing his team while avoiding overexertion. He even pointed to last year as an example, admitting that LeBron James probably did too much in camp under the previous staff, which may have contributed to his physical struggles during the season. For Smart, the Lakers will be cautious. Achilles injuries, even when described as minor tendinopathy, can be unpredictable. The team will not want to risk a more serious setback, especially given his injury history over the last 2 years. Still, his potential impact cannot be ignored. If Smart can stay healthy, his defensive instincts, toughness, and leadership could provide a much-needed edge for a Lakers team looking to maximize what could be one of LeBron James's final runs at a championship. For now, though, the early story out of Lakers training camp is not the excitement of new arrivals or lineup experiments. It's the mounting injury list and the question of whether Los Angeles can keep its core pieces on the floor long enough to compete. LeBron James closed out the 2024-25 season in disappointing fashion, his performance hindered by a grade 2 MCL sprain that severely limited his impact during the Los Angeles Lakers' first-round playoff exit against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The series lasted only 5 games, and for James, it was another reminder of how much more difficult it has become to sustain peak form deep into the season. As the new campaign approaches, the Lakers find themselves dealing with familiar questions about the health of their superstar. At 40 years old, James is set to begin his record-extending 23rd season in the NBA, but his preseason preparation has already been disrupted by a new setback. According to ESPN's Dave McMenamin, Lakers head coach JJ Redick confirmed that James was held out of a training camp practice on Tuesday due to nerve irritation in his glute. This news immediately raises concerns for a franchise that relies heavily on James, not only for his production on the court, but also for the leadership he brings to the locker room. He is, after all, the league's oldest active player, a status he has carried into each of the last 3 seasons. Redick's update highlighted that James was not alone in sitting out. Guards Marcus Smart and Gabe Vincent, both of whom have endured long histories with injuries, were also unavailable, as was rookie forward Adou Thiero. The Lakers' injury list was already notable before the season even tipped off, casting an early shadow over the team's preparations. For James, the issue is not just whether he can stay healthy for a few weeks, but whether his body can withstand the grind of a full season followed by a demanding playoff run. The NBA's current eligibility rule for postseason awards has added further complications. Players must suit up for at least 65 regular season games to be considered for honors such as All-NBA selections. That threshold pushes veterans, even those with nagging injuries, to remain active longer than may be wise. Last year, James appeared in 70 contests, secured a place on the All-NBA second team, and then immediately entered the playoffs in a compromised state. The cycle has become familiar: strong regular season output, followed by a decline in effectiveness once the postseason begins. For a player of James's stature, whose career has been defined by excellence in the biggest moments, that decline is difficult to overlook. His numbers last season remained remarkable: 24.4 points per game on efficient shooting splits of 51.3% from the field, 37.6% from beyond the arc, and 78.2% from the free throw line. He also contributed 8.2 assists, 7.8 rebounds, a steal, and 0.6 blocks per game. These are elite statistics for any player, let alone someone competing at age 40. Still, the question persists: how much longer can the Lakers count on James as their centerpiece? That question has only grown louder after the team's midseason trade for Luka Doncic, the 5-time All-NBA guard who is 14 years younger and has quickly become the franchise's new cornerstone. The arrival of Doncic has effectively shifted the Lakers' long-term outlook. The organization is now building around him, and James's role, while still significant, may no longer define the team's identity in the way it once did. Financial considerations further complicate the situation. James is playing this season on an expiring contract worth $52.6 million. Negotiations for an extension during the summer collapsed, despite clear indications that James and his representation wanted to secure a new deal. His agent, Rich Paul, even went as far as publicly criticizing the Lakers after talks broke down, signaling both James's desire to stay in Los Angeles and the organization's hesitation about committing to him at this stage of his career. The lack of an extension leaves the Lakers in a delicate position. On one hand, James remains a marketable star and a productive player capable of influencing games on a nightly basis. On the other, his advancing age, recurring injuries, and high salary present obvious risks for a team trying to remain competitive in a Western Conference that grows stronger each year. The arrival of Doncic has provided a new direction, but it has also cast uncertainty on how much longer James will remain a Laker. All eyes now turn to October 21st when Los Angeles opens the regular season at home against the revamped Golden State Warriors. That game is more than just a high-profile matchup. It represents the first true test of whether the Lakers' veteran leaders can enter the season healthy and ready to compete. Redick's comments suggest that James, Smart, and Vincent are all being carefully managed in the hope they will be available for opening night. Yet the reality is that durability will be a storyline to watch all year long. For James, this season carries particular weight. Every milestone he reaches, whether it's games played, points scored, or playoff appearances, adds to a career already defined by unprecedented longevity and consistency. But it also underscores the tension between what he continues to produce and the fragility of a body that has logged over 2 decades of professional basketball. His ability to balance production with preservation may ultimately dictate not only the Lakers' success this year, but also whether he remains in Los Angeles beyond it. At 40 years old, LeBron James is still putting up numbers that many players in their prime can't match. But the wear and tear are undeniable, and the questions surrounding his health and future with the Lakers have never been louder. As training camp begins and the countdown to opening night ticks closer, the focus is clear. Can James still deliver at the level his team and his legacy demand? The Los Angeles Lakers are back in the spotlight with a potential trade idea that could significantly reshape their roster. Reports from Josh Cornelison of Lake Show Life suggest that Los Angeles may be considering a deal to acquire Minnesota Timberwolves forward Jaden McDaniels, a defensive-minded wing who is currently playing under a $131 million contract. The possible trade scenario would see the Lakers send Austin Reeves and Jared Vanderbilt to Minnesota, while Los Angeles would receive McDaniels along with veteran forward Joe Ingles. This proposal has quickly sparked discussion because it touches on 2 very different but equally important team-building philosophies. On one side, the Lakers would be adding size, length, and defensive versatility in McDaniels, qualities that align perfectly with their stated goal of surrounding LeBron James and Luka Doncic with players who can defend multiple positions and contribute without needing to dominate the ball. On the other side, the Timberwolves would be strengthening their backcourt depth by adding a proven scorer and creator in Reeves, along with the energy and toughness of Vanderbilt. Cornelison explained that while Reeves is exactly the type of player teams like to keep long-term, the situation could change quickly. Next summer, Reeves is set to become a free agent, and league insiders expect him to receive a lucrative offer that could test the Lakers' financial flexibility. This makes the idea of moving him now, while his value is high and his role on the team is still being defined, more reasonable than it may initially appear. The Lakers' interest in McDaniels also makes sense when looking at their recent history. Last season, Los Angeles was eliminated in the playoffs by Minnesota, with McDaniels playing a key role in neutralizing the Lakers' wings. At 6'10", he is regarded as one of the league's most effective defenders, capable of guarding players across 4 positions. His combination of length, agility, and defensive instincts has made him a coveted asset around the NBA. Adding a player of his profile would address one of the Lakers' biggest weaknesses in recent seasons: consistent wing defense against elite scorers. Meanwhile, Minnesota would be getting an offensive jolt with Reeves. Averaging around 20 points per game, Reeves has grown into a reliable scorer and secondary playmaker. His ability to create off the dribble, handle the ball, and generate offense in pick-and-roll situations would give the Timberwolves much-needed relief behind Mike Conley, who, despite his leadership, is in the later stages of his career. Vanderbilt, on the other hand, offers hustle, rebounding, and defensive versatility. He is not a high-usage player, but his presence often tilts the energy level of games, and that type of contribution can be invaluable in a long season. This trade scenario becomes even more intriguing when placed in the context of the Lakers' busy offseason. Los Angeles already made headlines by acquiring DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, and Jake LaRavia. Perhaps the most significant move, however, was landing Luka Doncic, who now joins 40-year-old LeBron James to form one of the most powerful offensive duos in the league. That pairing gives the Lakers a strong foundation, but the front office knows that to compete for a championship, they need more than just star power. They need players who fill very specific roles. McDaniels fits seamlessly into that vision. His long-term contract is both cost-controlled and secure, averaging about $27 million annually over the next 4 years. For a team looking to maximize its championship window while LeBron James is still active, financial predictability is crucial. Unlike chasing another high-priced star, targeting a player like McDaniels allows the Lakers to strengthen their rotation without destabilizing their salary structure. His skill set also complements the team's offensive hierarchy. With James and Doncic handling most of the creation duties, McDaniels would not be asked to initiate offense. Instead, he would focus on spacing the floor as a spot-up shooter, locking down opposing scorers, and providing high IQ off-ball movement. This kind of role player has historically been critical for championship contenders, and Los Angeles appears determined not to repeat past mistakes of relying too heavily on offensive-minded pieces at the expense of defensive consistency. For Minnesota, however, the decision is not simple. Trading away McDaniels would mean parting with one of their defensive cornerstones. Still, the return package offers real upside. Reeves' scoring ability could transform the balance of their offense, while Vanderbilt's energy could give them depth in areas where they often struggle, particularly on the boards. With Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards carrying much of the scoring load, the addition of Reeves as a consistent third option could alleviate pressure and open up the floor for their stars. The trade breakdown is clear. The Lakers would receive Jaden McDaniels and Joe Ingles, while the Timberwolves would receive Austin Reeves and Jared Vanderbilt. Ingles, though no longer at his peak, brings veteran leadership and reliable shooting, making him a useful addition for Los Angeles as they look to round out their rotation. Currently, Austin Reeves serves as the Lakers' third ball handler behind James and Doncic. While his offensive skills are undeniable, his role could shrink in Los Angeles as the team transitions toward a defense-first approach. That makes him expendable in ways that might not have been the case just 1 year ago. On the flip side, Jaden McDaniels seems almost tailor-made for this version of the Lakers. His defensive presence, his ability to thrive without the ball, and his long-term contract security could make him the missing piece that pushes Los Angeles one step closer to another NBA championship. In the end, this proposed deal highlights the different priorities of both franchises. For Los Angeles, the focus is on maximizing the final years of LeBron James' career, while ensuring Luka Doncic has the defensive support around him to compete at the highest level. For Minnesota, it's about adding more offensive firepower and depth to complement their core. Whether or not the trade actually materializes, it underlines the fact that both teams are actively searching for ways to position themselves as legitimate contenders in an increasingly competitive Western Conference.